What's good? How y'all doing this evening?
Welcome to the FILA Sports Podcast, the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Hadn't talked to y'all in a while. Had a little holiday break.
Yeah.
Back to talk some college football tonight. Previewing the national championship game. It's your boy Coach Mario and my co-host the Don. What's going on, Mike?
What's good, y'all? Hey, it's good to be back. Recording again. This is the season finale of Rivalry Week, so this is our last show. Talking about college football until I guess August.
Late August.
Yeah. So, everybody in the chat that's joining us, appreciate y'all. I know y'all ain't said nothing. Go ahead and speak for us. Now, if you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with other Georgia college sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always,
come holla
at your hometown sports podcast. Now, we know we Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. We cover all Atlanta teams, all Georgia college teams. But come on now, you already know we going to have to cover the national championship game. Everybody's going to be watching it. All right. I know it's a lot of, fans, the Bulldogs fans are still upset about the SEC championship game. Hey, it is what it is. We'll, get our shot again next year. But hey, we brought two people back on the show. That was on our show. Rob Sanders, he was on the show earlier this year. Matter of fact, he was on the first show, the very first Rivalry Week show. What's good, Rob? How you doing? Congratulations on your team making it to the national championship again, second straight season.
Yeah, it's been fun covering Clemson this year, man. They are a very special team. So obviously capping it off with the national title here, it's gonna be kind of cool heading up into next week.
All right, appreciate it. All right, and then we had a month ago we had Billy on. Pretty much we reviewed the LSU and Georgia Bulldogs game, the SEC championship game, and he pretty much predicted the show. He predicted the score. Remember, we told him, he said that what you predicted? Wait, because you remember he said 45 to 13 or something like that. I'm saying, like, you really think LSU gonna put up that many points against Georgia? But hey, he was right. But I know you was wrong about Billy. You was wrong about them Saints winning, going to the Super Bowl, though. But I had to throw that in. But how you doing, Billy, man?
Doing good. Recovering from Sunday and looking forward to the weekend and seeing what happens on Monday night.
Hey, that's good, man. That's good. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with the show. Go ahead, Coach.
All right. Well, like I said, we'll jump right into it. If you didn't know, the national championship is on Monday. We got Clemson and LSU. And the first thing I want to hear you guys, can Kemp? We all expect. Well, I'm sorry. I guess I expect LSU to score points. Can Clemson score with LSU?
Go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and let Billy go first.
I would think so. I think Clemson's offense is every bit as good as LSU's, and they've got just about as many weapons. And I expect this game to be a shootout. Should be a dynamite matchup outside receiver on the cornerback. Clemson's receivers, Higgins and Ross against LSU's corners, Bolton and Stingley. Travis Etienne's a great back. Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback. Should be a real back and forth game. I expect it to be a lot of points.
All right. Rob?
If you follow Clemson throughout the year, they've scored on just about everybody. It's just been an issue of it sounds kind of crazy. They had a couple of hiccups, but the Clemson offense is just great. When you go with their senior driven offensive line, and then you also have two running backs. Everybody talks about Travis Etienne, but Lynn J. Dixon is really good. And of course, Trevor Lawrence will probably be the number one pick in the draft. And you go outside with Higgins and Ross, they're both great, but another player to watch is Amari Rogers. Coming back from a knee injury. He's had sets where he's been good here and good there, but he's just another playmaker for Trevor Lawrence to turn the dials. So the LSU defense has been pretty good this season, but it's not like it's a lightning rod. This is awesome defense. I think they gave up 38 to Vanderbilt, 41 to Alabama, 38 to Texas. I mean, they have the ability. They can give up some points. So I don't think it's going to be an issue of Clemson scoring. It's going to be an issue of how much.
Okay. Good. So, well, we said that these teams mirror each other. What would be the deciding factor in the game? Go ahead, Billy.
Probably the team that can get to the quarterback most often. Joe Burrow has been great under pressure, but there hasn't been a lot of teams, especially in the last couple of outings, that have really been able to get him on the ground with the ball in his hands. If Clemson can do that, that'll be their best shot. And likewise, I think LSU's going to have to get after Trevor Lawrence, get in his face, and get him on the turf. If both these guys, if they have all day, they're going to shred you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Rob.
Well, I think that the key player in the game is Isaiah Simmons, because Joe Burrow and LSU has not played a guy like Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons can do so many different things. He can line up and rush the quarterback. He can drop back into coverage. He can do so many different things. And I think that Burrows hasn't seen that type of player yet. I mean, this guy is the definition of a hybrid type player.
Yeah,
so I think
more like a Vic Beasley.
Right, but I think he is the kind of player that you can't really scheme against because you have no idea what he's going to do. And I think that's going to be the big, huge matchup there. But I agree with getting to the quarterback, but in reality, Burrows plays better when people blitz him. I mean, he really, really does, in my opinion. I think he's better at anticipating the blitz and making the quicker read than Lawrence is. So I think he's going to do a set where he's probably going to go into coverage more and try to play seven defensive backs and see if that's going to work. But that LSU offense is just really, really special with Burrows back there. But the key player is going to be Simmons and what he can do to try to slow him down just a little bit.
All right, appreciate it. All right, this question goes to Rob. This question goes to you.
Sure.
Dabo Swinney. There's been reports. It's been the reports for the past couple of years, speculations about Dabo Swinney. Do you think he's going to leave Clemson to go to Bama? I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think he's leaving Clemson.
Well, I think that the way that I've always thought about this was, if you go to Bama, you're trying to just continue what Alabama has done before. Mm-hmm. If you're at Clemson, you've built Clemson into something, and you're going to be the Bear Bryant of Clemson. That's essentially what Dabo Swinney is looking at. I'm not saying that he's Bear Bryant, but he's the equivalent of what a Bear Bryant would be at Clemson. Okay, if he wins the national title next week, he'll have two straight national titles, three out of the last four. That is a heck of a resume. And I don't understand why he would move from, hey, something I've completely built and started on my own, out to Alabama. And I know that with Alabama, they'll write him a check, but I mean, Clemson's paying him some great, great money. And with the staff that he's built there, the fact that right now his sons play on the team, and I don't think he's going anywhere without Brent Venables and his sons play on the team. I think all of that, when you look at it, at least for the next 4 to 6 years, I don't see Dabo Swinney going anywhere. Now, if I say that with the adage that if there's some sort of scandal, which happens in college football, that thing could change. But on the front of, is he going to leave just to go to Alabama? No, I don't think that's going to happen. No.
All right. Yeah, like I said, I don't think Sweden's leaving anywhere. I know I talked to Lieutenant Dan a lot, Unintentional Grounding. Check him out. He has his own YouTube channel. I remember early in the NFL season when the Falcons were struggling, he thought that Dabo Swinney was going to leave Clemson to come to the Falcons, and I said, "No, that ain't happening, man. He's not. Especially the Falcons. He's not going to leave Clemson. A job you can pretty much get any player you want to, in the country to just come to the Falcons and say, hey, well, no, I don't think that's a good move for him.
I've never understood coaches going from college to the pros because it's a completely different setup. I mean, you got the whole – yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, we're having trouble on the offensive line. We're going to recruit. We can go and fix that. Whereas if you have to go out and think, all right, we've got to pick up an offensive lineman. Can we convince this guy with millions of dollars to come here? That's just insane, man.
I think what it is, a lot of coaches don't love recruiting and the speaking engagements. NFL coaches have less speaking engagements, and
they have a staff full of scouters. That can scout players in college,
and
NFL coaches have to coach.
Yeah, and they just coach. They don't have to do the public relations stuff as much as college coaches. So I think that has a lot to do with it sometimes when coaches make the jump.
Have you ever been to a Dabo Swinney press conference? He won't shut up.
Yeah.
He loves getting up there, and I mean, seriously. And I'm not mocking him for that, but I mean, he enjoys that.
Yeah,
he likes going out and talking about Clemson football and if you listen to Don Munson, the play-by-play guy, he calls it the Clemson gospel because that's what they believe up there. They believe that they're spreading the goodwill of Clemson, and it sounds cheesy until you sit and listen to them a little while, but they truly believe that. And I think he really likes that. And that's a heck of a lot easier to sell than, hey, I'm the Cleveland Browns and I want you to come here. That's not going to work. And so I don't think he'll ever do that.
He tries to be the college guy, not a pro guy.
Yeah, Dabo was a college guy. I don't think Dabo has his eyes on the pros at all. Yeah.
All right, this next question is for Billy. Joe Burrow, he just won the Heisman. And, number 1 overall pick, Cincinnati Bengals. They on the clock right now. Everybody's saying that he's going to the Bengals. And I'm pretty sure that's going to end up happening because they need a quarterback. Andy Dalton just not the answer for them. He's been there for 10 years and his time is up. But Joe Burrow to the Bengals, how do you think he will be for them?
I think he's got great pro potential. I don't know how he'll do with the Bengals because who does well with the Bengals? I mean, AJ Green's done great numbers there, and for what,
Well, if you look at it, parallel lines.
That he enjoys being back in Ohio, and he could be there for a couple of years and maybe get his way somewhere else to a franchise that can actually win something.
Well, if you look at parallel lines, like it's all for the Bengals to come full circle. All right, and I feel like the Bengals they didn't do right with Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer, when he got drafted to the Bengals, Heisman Award winner. Yeah, he didn't play the national championship game or whatever. But number 1 overall pick, won the Heisman, wore number 9 for the Bengals. So I'm pretty sure Joe Burrow is gonna wear number 9 for the Bengals too. So they can, I feel like he can probably bring life to that team. But I don't believe in that head coach though they have up there. I just don't.
Can I add something on that? And I personally, I love Joe Burrows as a quarterback, but if I'm Cleveland, I'm taking Chase Young.
Well, it's Cincinnati.
I'm sorry, with Cincinnati. I would take Chase Young. That's what I would do because I think he's more of a can't miss prospect over Joe Burrows. That's just my opinion. I think he is going to be a guy that is going to light the combine on fire. And I think Burrows is great, but I don't know if he's going to go number 1 or not. If I had the choice of the two, I'd go with Young.
I agree, and I agree. I kind of
stuff.
Go ahead, Billy.
The Bengals will take him because he's a local kid, and they're going to see that as well. He'll help us sell tickets and all that kind of stuff. And that's not the right justification for using the number 1 pick, but that's what the Bengals will do.
Yeah,
and
they need. But if you look at
that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you look at the Bengals right now, they need a quarterback more than anything. Yes, Chase Young looks good. They just need everything The Bengals. Let's be honest. They need everything.
They need a new owner. They need a new everything.
Yes, they need everything. So they really need just go ahead and just draft Joe Burrow. Chase Young, on the other hand, yeah, I think he'll be be good in the NFL, but he got to play in the right system. I just think, in my opinion, the knock on Chase Young to me is his size. He's 265. Like I like my defensive lineman a little bigger.
Well, I think he's a hybrid type player. I mean, he can play a couple of different spots, but it's just I agree with what Billy said, where that's why the Bengals will draft him. And the sad thing is for Burrows is that they're going to throw him into the fire like quick, because they don't, if they can get to 4 wins next season, they'd be happy as larks. But I mean, growing up as a kid, they were the Bungles, and they've become the Bungles again. I mean, Andy Dalton for a while was doing some great stuff with them there, and then all of a sudden they just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, they had. Well, thing is with the Bengals when they had when Andy Dalton was doing good, they had a good defense too to complement the average offense that they had.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him being a high draft pick, but I'm not looking forward to watching the Bengals kind of chew him up and spit him out the way that they have so many other players.
Yeah, they just really messed up Carson Palmer. They didn't get him any protection on the offensive line. They really didn't give him a good run game. They shipped Corey Dillon to the Patriots pretty much for nothing. Like, it's just crazy how they did this, man. All right, let's go ahead and start with our predictions for the game. Everybody in the chat, go ahead and shoot your predictions to us so we can read them during the show. But go ahead, Coach. What's your prediction for the national championship game?
I got LSU 45-35. I think like you said, I think it'll be a shootout. I think like 45-35, one of those last, who has the ball last, and I just see who, I know it's cliche, whoever turns it over the least. Of course, you can say that about any game, but whoever turns it over the least, because I think both teams can score. So, but I think it'll be an exciting, good game, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I don't think it'll be boring at all. I think it's going to be on an edge of your seat type game.
Okay. All right. Billy?
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. I think it's going to be a shootout. If I'm Clemson, I think they probably work Amari Rodgers underneath early on, use that to kind of stay ahead of the chains, and then they can run. They can work some play action down the field to their other big receivers. LSU, I think, will come out maybe a little run heavy early on, kind of like Ohio State with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's going to be healthy, and use that same thing, try and set up some shots down the field. And I think both these teams are going to score a lot of points, and the team that's got the ball last and makes the fewest mistakes will be the one that wins.
All right. Good. Rob?
Well, the more that I look at this game, I think Clemson's going to do a lot with the LSU defense. But the way to beat Joe Burrow is to keep Joe Burrow on the bench. Lots of people have tried. Okay, we'll run 8 defensive backs at him. We'll try to hammer him and hit him and all that. Look, if he's not on the field, he can't do anything. So I think that Clemson's going to scheme their offense where they'll have a lot of tunnel screens and stuff like that. They're going to look for the next Hunter Renfrow. If you don't know who Hunter Renfrow is, Alabama knows all about him. He kicked them in the teeth every time he played them. That's what they're going to look for. And I think it's going to be Amari Rodgers or DeAndre Overton or a guy like that is kind of – everybody knows about Higgins and Ross and the big plays they can make. But watch for tunnel screens and watch for plays out of the backfield with ETN and Lynn J. Dixon. They're going to run the ball like that and try to limit LSU's possessions. And I think the game everybody's talking about is going to be like a blowout type thing. The over-under, according to Vegas, is like at 70. I think the under is what I would kind of go with here. And I think it's going to be Clemson winning like 28-24.
Wow. You know what, Rob? I had my – that was my – my prediction was a little closer than that. I said 26-24 LSU.
Yeah, I the country, and I read something today that like 90% of Las Vegas's money is on LSU, which means Vegas is loving some Clemson right now. And I wonder how LSU will do under the big, huge spotlight there, whereas Clemson has a veteran team that, the majority of the offense played in the national championship game last year. I think there's something to be said for experience. But on the other hand, I think Clemson with a slow and steady pace can win the game. If it gets into a shootout, Clemson loses. I think LSU blows them out. But I think that Clemson will control the game, keep Joe Burrows on the bench, and with that, I think Clemson pulls it out. I think they win 28-24.
All right, good. All right, going in the chat, read y'all. Man, JL, come on, man. I ain't worried about that. I'm not hating on Chase Young. Chase Young, he's gonna be good. It's just the problem with him is his size. That's it. All right, Anthony, thank you for joining us. He said 41-38 Clemson. JF said 38-23 LSU. Harrison said Amari is Renfro's replacement. And Ultra Shadow 97 said 38-31 LSU. So yeah, so pretty much majority of everybody's, in the chat and on the show pretty much saying LSU. All right, well, we just got to wait to see on Monday what happens. One more question before we end this. Y'all already know what I'm going to say. Where is the real Death Valley? Now, I know the real Death Valley is somewhere in California. We know this.
Right.
But we talking about, football. Where is the real Death Valley?
Good one.
Go ahead and go, Billy.
No, I think we're the one that's shaken like an earthquake before, so I'll just leave it at that. I think Clemson's got a great program and a great stadium, but Tiger Stadium is where opponents' dreams come to die.
Okay. All right, Rob.
Well, I did the prep on this, and I don't want the LSU fans to be angry at me, but when you earn something first, it's like the University of South Carolina here in our state. They called themselves USC forever, and they actually lost it in federal court, and they cannot refer to themselves as USC. Everybody outside of the state knows that USC is in California. We all know that. It's just a set of, if you're told as a kid and you're an LSU fan that this is Death Valley, that's what you grow up believing. The history books say that that's not necessarily true. The place was named Death Valley by Presbyterian coach Lonnie McMillan in 1944. Okay, LSU didn't start calling their Tiger Stadium Death Valley until 1959. So being the historian that I am, I'm going to go with what Presbyterian coach McMillan said in 1944. Clemson's Death Valley was Death Valley 15 years before it started. I'm not knocking what they do out at LSU, because if you go to a game there and you're an opponent, it can be hell on earth. Not knocking the program. They're absolutely great, but Clemson's Death Valley was Death Valley first, and Clemson Stadium is called Memorial Stadium. Yeah. So, but the history books say Presbyterian coach Lonnie McMillan named it that in 1944. So that's kind of what I'm going to go with.
That was some awesome research.
Yeah, you could tell he done did his homework before the show.
Hey man, you sent me the paperwork, brother. You sent them up. I'm gonna knock it down for you, man.
I already know.
Now I've had LSU fans on Twitter, by the way, try to give me grief about that, and I'm like, look, man, I'm not trying to argue with you. You got it in 1959, and the reason that it was in 1959 is because LSU beat Clemson in a game. It was the Sugar Bowl to win the national title in 1959, and they basically said, we're taking the name Death Valley from you. Hey, you can't really argue with that. I mean, they beat Clemson in the Gator Bowl or the Sugar Bowl to win it. You can make the argument they took the title from them, but as far as where it comes from first, it was from Presbyterian's coach in 1944.
All right. I think Billy won a rebuttal. Go ahead, Billy.
I'll just say that technically the city of Mobile, Alabama had Mardi Gras before New Orleans. Which Mardi Gras does everyone know about first, though? I'll just leave it there.
That's fine, man. I agree with you on that, but we're not talking about Mardi Gras and a party here. We're talking about football.
Football game ain't a party to you. You're doing it wrong, man.
It's true, too.
All right. Well, let the best team win come on Monday. Remember, LSU Tigers versus Clemson Tigers. Tigers versus Tigers. Game will be televised this Monday coming up in New Orleans. The Mercedes-Benz Superdome. The place that a murder was taking place last Sunday. Anyway. All right. Thank y'all for joining us. Go ahead, Billy. Go ahead and plug your information.
All right, andthevalleyshik.com. We got lots of great coverage on and a little bit of fun coming up this week on the game. And you can follow me on Twitter at ATVS_Chef Billy.
All right. Thank you. And go ahead and plug your information, Rob.
Well, my show is daily on Fox Sports Radio 1400 here in Columbia. You can find it on the iHeartRadio app. Just look for The Rundown with Rob Sanders. This week, I should have the play-by-play voice of Clemson on. Also, Levon Kirkland, a member of the all-decade team in the 90s, also a Clemson legend there. So you can check out the show for that. I also do a podcast with a couple of South Carolina guys. It's called The Rob and Comrade Show. You can find that at robandcomrade.com. So appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate it. All right, Coach, you got anything to say?
No, man. Looking forward to the game, but sad that the best sport on earth is ending until August.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Go to the spring game, man.
I'll be going to some spring games. I'll be going to a few because I'll be touring. So yeah, I will be going to spring game. I'll be going to a Clemson game next year. The Clemson and Akron game. I'll definitely be at that one next year too.
I'm going to the Clemson Notre Dame game next year, but I like going to like small school spring games like Newberry here near Columbia. Okay. You can actually like take a lawn chair and just sit in the end zone, which is just because I mean it's so cool because you can see everything. You don't normally get to sit that close, but for the spring game they'll just let you sit there and and they let you have drinks there too. They kind of just look the other way, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, guys, everybody in the chat, thank y'all for being with us this evening, and everybody who's listening at a later time, thank y'all for tuning in. It's been very busy around here. We trying to get things split up for you guys, make our brand a little better. So just bear with us. I know y'all used to having us do 2 or 3 shows a week, but look, we're gonna be back and we're gonna be stronger. A few weeks from now, you already know it's gonna be our 1-year anniversary for FILA Sports Podcast. So we're gonna do a show. We will do a show, and we don't know who we'll have on, but we're gonna have somebody on special. So just tune in and just follow us on social media. We still vocal on social media. Twitter FILA_SP, on Facebook FILA Sports Podcast, and on Instagram FILA Sports Podcast. Check us out also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Google Play. If you haven't been following us, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe, you guys. It's free. Also hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We already said subscribe. Hit that like button, share this content out with other Georgia college sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section as always.
Come holla
at your hometown sports podcast. This is our last Rivalry Week show for this season. We'll be back sometime in August. Thank y'all for tuning in. RIP to 2019 football season. See y'all later.